Now let's talk about temples. And Shanghai.
Travis Wingitzel. Have any of you ever played Axis and Allies? It's a board game. It recreates World War II. And when you play it, it's difficult to conquer Nazi Germany in the beginning. My brother figured it out, but he could never implement it when playing me when I played Nazi Germany. But when I played by myself, I realized, oh, yeah, the roll of the dice determines who wins, and thus that is the one way to do it. You have to do a full-on strike from the beginning from England, and you have to have the die on your side. If the die doesn't go on your side and you lose, I think it's just a couple of pieces in the beginning of the fight, you can kiss the game goodbye. Otherwise, you have a prolonged game, and eventually Nazi Germany whittles itself down until it can't sustain itself anymore, and the Allies win. But who owns America? Who owns the debts of America? The majority of the debts of America are owned by China. China literally owns us. In Utah, we have real estate companies from California that are based in China. China owns much of the land in Utah. This is how they've been doing it all this time. Is they've had Chinese companies sell to America our technology. Much of it comes from China. Our clothing comes from China. We have food and other stuff. The tariffs that Trump did on China hurt America, not China. And so China owns us financially, and literally in the sense of Utah, as Governor Herbert has allowed these outside companies based in China to come and own Utah. Remember when Nelson, in January, when China was suffering from the effects of the coronavirus and trying to lock down the people, control it, he made a call to China and said, hey, you want masks? And then he didn't give masks to America? Until it was too late. See, because Travis, he did make millions of masks. When? The timing of when? Exactly. We were supposed to have our masks before it became a pandemic here in America. We were late to respond, and because we were late to respond, it's going to take forever to control. Unless it was human caused, then they've already got the vaccine, and they're just playing with us. But, hey, we don't know, do we? But Russia sure thinks they've got a vaccine. Isn't that interesting? And so, all of this is torture in America, as we're the worst in the world in handling it. And today is the first day of school for Utah kids, and we're going to see in the next few days the results of sending kids to school rather than having them learn from home. And then there's the argument, well, the poor aren't going to be able to learn from home, they can't afford a computer. Why don't we give them a computer? Oh, right, China owns the computers. It's a Chinese digital devices and apps. TikTok. China. And so even the virus come from China. But over the weekend, I heard it was either NBC Nightly News or PBS Weekend Edition that were saying, quoting from Trump, that if Biden wins in November, that China will own America. Trump is well known, and those of you who are Trump loyalists should already have figured this out. When Trump says something, he's disclosing national security. He's revealing his secrets. And China, of course, was surveilling Trump at the building by the White House, and monitoring his phone, which Trump was refusing to secure his phone, if you remember that scandal. And so the embassies finally have been abandoned and kicked out, and they kicked out ours. And so, as I indicated, China already owns us. And so what is Trump talking about? You know, people who still, after all this time of pattern of behavior after pattern of behavior, still can't figure out Trump's code. It means that Trump has sold America to China. China has called in their debt and said, we want the land now. Give it to us. And Trump said, okay. That's why the Republicans have given up on America. That's why Trump has given up on America. That's why the Senate went home for the August recess, not having money for us to carry us through, as evictions are now about to occur. Now, why China? Why not Russia? Well, Putin only wants Bears Ears uranium. And so if he can get somebody else to provide it for him, since Governor Herbert failed, Herbert caved when the Washington Post leaked the sale to a uranium company. As he was promising that it wouldn't be for oil drilling or other mining. He just neglected about uranium, which is all over Bears Ears and Escalante. And so Herbert caved and canceled the sale. And so then you get the videos of other people coming into the Utah area and doing videos of, I don't see uranium miners. It's because Herbert canceled the deal. Dumbasses. But yeah, why would China want the land of America? Well, it's obvious. What have they been doing for decades? And they just finally have released the one-child policy. They've dropped it now. China can now have more than one child. So what's going to happen in the near future? China is going to be again overpopulated. Not because they don't have enough land, but because the building that they do, it's limited to the number of housing. And if you've been paying attention to what's going on in China, China is attacking Hong Kong, trying to take over Hong Kong. And I think they've finally actually done it with the new law that they passed that Hong Kong must submit to China. I don't see the protests or hear about the protests as much anymore, now that the new law has been implemented and they came in with the military. But America, if they own America and they want to expand so that they can have a larger population of people, America is perfect. They can build their skyscraper cities all across America. They can have multi-billions and trillions of people. I did the math once. All the land mass in America, if you did skyscraper cities, at least 16 quadrillion. That's going up as high before you hit the oxygen level requirement. And, if you don't pressurize the airplanes, you have to wear the oxygen masks, for example. And so skyscrapers that are that tall are all over the land of America, or the world. 16 quadrillion people. And that's not counting the water, which is the most popular, or the most mass. It covers the most land mass. And so, how do you solve that problem? Well, you drain the water from the world, don't you? And you've got plenty of property. I don't know how you survive without water, but who knows? But plenty of room. There is no population crisis in the world. We've been lied to, if you've been fooled by that, into thinking that we have to kill off the surplus population, as people used to say that we needed to do. If you're familiar with Albert Pike, in 1887 he wrote the infamous letter to Giuseppe Mazzini. In that letter he claimed that he was Illuminati in origin, as a Scottish Rites Freemason, and also confirmed that the whole entire end goal was the Illuminati Luciferian doctrine, and so religion and government together as one under Lucifer. The falling star of the Bible, which, yes, corresponds with Venus, as Venus fails to become the sun at noonday. The sun always conquers Venus. Thus the symbolism of Jesus conquering Lucifer and blah blah blah, good over evil. But the threat to America, as I've gone over with you, Joseph Smith Sr. stopped it. But then they found out it was him, and they stopped the organization that he tried to create for the future attack that we're now in. China is into what's called horoscope astrology. It's like a combination of hard science astronomy with the psychiatric manipulation of horoscopes and astrology, where every Chinese child, Chinese person, see, I'm kind of concerned because everybody gets offended when you, it really pisses me off. If you're from China, you're Chinese. So let's call it that. And so if it's supposed to be Asian, I don't know. But please don't be offended. Every Chinese boy and girl who are born in China get their horoscopes. Now the manipulation part from psychology is that they are told what to become. They are told what their career field will be. They are told who to marry. Not specifically as a name, but the matching horoscope. And so, if you've seen Krypton, they had it where the couples were to go and have their blood tested and then compatted, and so you know who your child is and who they're going to be, and they're cast into a family as well as a career field. China is big on social control. not just social media, but they utilize social media as a means of controlling the GPS tracking, the facial recognition, all designed to control the populace. And if you buy one too many video games, if you're into video games, well, they knock you down in the points for failing to conform and comply. And so you'll have that game taken away from you, as well as other games, because you're only allowed a certain number of games, as China is big on computer games as well. And so, since lots of designs come from China, Chinese year 2020. In China right now, what year is it? The year of the rat. Yeah, the year of the rat. Last year was the year of the dog, wasn't it? Or was that 2 years ago? Because here they're showing an order of year of rat, year of pig, year of dog, year of rooster. If we're year of rat, that doesn't make sense, but each one corresponds to a different zodiac sign. There we go. Ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, pig, rat. Oh, okay. They have rat as the big one. Why do they have rat as the big one? Is it because this year is the year of the rat? Is that what the Chinese symbols mean below 12 Chinese zodiac signs? But so I'm not too up on the horoscopes of China, other than a basic understanding of how it functions. I was hoping to see if there was some kind of meaning and symbolism attached with it that I can quickly get an answer, rather than figure it out that way. It's more than 2,000 years old in the practice. In order, the first one is the rat. Okay, so we've started all over again with the first of the zodiac. Okay, and so yeah, 2 years ago was the dog. Okay, now let's get to origin. Yeah, they have a story based on it. One legend says that the Jade Emperor needed to choose 12 animals as palace guards. The cat asked his neighbor Rat to help him sign up. Rat forgot, which is why they became mortal enemies. So the rat and the cat are mortal enemies. At the palace, Ox was first in line, but Rat secretly climbed onto Ox's back and jumped in front of him. So Rat is a rat. But this is how they do things. You know, they have the stories, and people are supposed to conform and comply. Sorry, you were born in the year of the rat on this specific day, which means you're supposed to be this career field, and you're supposed to marry this person. You cannot marry any other person. I'm checking. Earthly branch, zodiac element. Yeah, they even have elements: metal, water, wood, fire, earth. Those seem to be it. And then compatibility, that's the compatibility. This is how you choose your spouse. You know, here in America, people used to say, "What's your sign?" That's the pickup line. Okay, here's rat. People born in the year of the rat like saving and collecting. So they're telling you you're supposed to save and collect because you're born in the year of the rat. This is the social control. This is the psychological manipulation. That's what psychologists do. Oh, you're mentally ill, you have this disease or illness, and therefore we need to give you these drugs for this illness, and you have to accept it. And they tell you over and 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 over again until you believe them. That's how they get you. That's the mass brainwashing, and China has been doing it forever. Now they've got social control where they literally control the people's lives. They know what you're doing, when you're doing it, every single second of the day. They trace you, they track you, and they have an automated system that controls you, that alerts them and punishes you instantly when you violate their laws. And like I said, if you buy one too many video games, and so if you eat the wrong foods or too much food, they'll go after you for that. That's how they control you. Rats never have hard times financially and live organized lives. If you receive a valuable gift from a rat, know that he thinks highly of you because he doesn't usually like opening his wallet for others. Rats don't look for praise and recognition. See, this is the color scam that was put on me as a little elementary school kid. They had 4 colors to choose from. They placed us in 4 color categories, and I kept dodging between blue and white. And I realized that, oh, you mean I just have to answer the questions differently and all of a sudden I'm magically a different color? So the whole thing is a fraud. The questions are specifically designed to place you into the color categories. You don't have other choices to make. And that's why I could never be placed into a career field when they asked the career questions to determine which career I'm most likely wanting to get into. It's because they didn't have ancient language translation, decipherment. And they didn't want me to go into that. They didn't have that available for me, and I'm not supposed to be allowed to go into it. That's how America has been doing this. We've had our own version of the Chinese social control here in America. They've been conditioning us. And remember, Albert Pike, in his letter, said that World War II was supposed to be a Nazi uprising and then get conquered so that communism can spread throughout all the world. That's what happened. And then we had the neo-Nazi, Senator McCarthy, who put out the Nazi Red Scare, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, oh, we're not communist, the priesthood is not communism, we're Nazi all the way. They didn't say Nazi, but they said, oh, we're conservative. That's Nazis, the neo-Nazis of McCarthy. And so the church has been Nazi the whole time. They supported Hitler in World War II, as the book Mormonism and the Swastika confirms, as what the church did to punish Mormons who supported Jews and fought against the Nazis in whatever capacity they could. The church punished them. And so right now, 2300 to 0100. Not sure what that means in regards to hours. Rats are at the height of their activity at this time, and people begin to associate rats with the Z hour. That's the science. The rat is yang, and its earthly branch is Z. And I don't know what Z means in regards to the comparison here. I don't know Chinese. I did use Chinese, the ancient forms, to compare with Paleo-Hebrew and thus Chinese or Egyptian to confirm my alphabetic tests, ABC Darien tests, technically. Folklore, rats steal food, which can be interpreted as the household being wealthy and having surpluses because of their fast reproduction rate. Some also pray to rats for children. And so here's who a rat's supposed to marry. They're supposed to marry an ox. The social group you're supposed to be in is either the monkeys or the dragons, and you need to stay away from horses. They've already told you who to shun and stay away from and hate. You're supposed to hate horses. You see how they're doing that? They're telling people from their birth, you hate these people. If you come across a horse, stay away from them. Leave them alone. They're your enemy. That's how horrible this whole horoscope astrology is. And it's all based upon psychology. And so this is what I'm concerned about. China already owns America. They own the majority of the debt. China supplies us with the majority of our belongings and possessions. They own lots of real estate already, as I indicated here in Utah. And notice that in the April conference, Nelson gave the announcement, oh yeah, we now have a temple in China, in Beijing. Really? Was that a quid pro quo with the masks? Or was that something else? Because the church wants to establish the kingdom of God here on the earth. If they know about the enemy's plans, they know that certain things need to be done. And I told you, Joseph Smith Sr. stopped this threat from occurring back in 1826. But then they found out, had his son assassinated, along with the other son, Hiram and Joseph Jr. And that's why the church has the inverted pentagrams from the Illuminati, of Lucifer, the light bearer, Illuminati, light bearer. That's why they're connected. And Brigham Young established in his temple, we will rise up against America. And he justified it to Mormons by saying, for the blood of Joseph Smith. You murdered him, Brigham. And so he was just manipulating Mormons to justify betraying America. As he fled America, he came to Mexico territory here in the Salt Lake Valley to establish his kingdom of Deseret, which the United States came in and squashed it. And so that's why he wants to destroy America. It's because the church wants their kingdom back. And they justify it by saying, well, Joseph Smith, he was murdered by America, and therefore we want to restore his kingdom, and we're just going to have Lucifer symbols all over the place. And so that's the warning. What's interesting is that tomorrow there is a prominent sign in the heaven. Of Mercury, who I've already told you I've identified as Trump. He's at Regulus, the star, the king star in Leo the lion. And he's in conjunction with the sun and the new moon. The new moon is the eclipsed moon. If it is over the sun, like on the 21st of August 2017, and again on 8 August 2024, you have a total solar eclipse. We had an annular one over the old world on Father's Day this year, the year of the rat. And what and so the sign is a symbolic reminder of the collapse of American government. The church part is not in there other than the moon being darkened. But the leader of the church is not there. I've already identified Nelson as Mars. And so this merely deals with America at the King Star. So it has to do with government authority that affects the United States. What is interesting is that starting today, going through to the 20th, I think, is the Democratic National Convention, thus fulfilling the sign. Now, the ancient manner of astronomy is not the Chinese horoscope astrology. People are not controlled by the heavens. The heavens are from the Bible. All the signs of the latter days are from the Bible. And it's not something that, oh no, the eclipse, I must kill myself. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's just people have long since forgotten the ancient ways. But yet, I've noticed that those who are associated with the planets are conforming and complying whether they know it or not. And so, yes, the Democrats, who are liberal versus conservative, Nazis versus communism, again, we're put in that same scenario in World War II. Nazis take over, abuse, bully, murder, and then they get conquered with a sweeping wave of communism. That's what we're looking at for this year. As Trump says, if Biden wins, and it's not going to be just Biden, the whole Republican Party have just abandoned America. What was the consequences of those Republicans who abandoned America in the 2018 midterms? A sweeping of the House. Now we're going to have a sweeping of the Senate. Mitch McConnell's going to be dethroned. If everything's fair and equal in the election. This is the dichotomous psychological trap that they've set for us. All designed to control the masses. They have conditioned America to desire communism. They're already preparing us mentally. Now, they say, well, see how evil conservatism is, guys? Don't you want liberalism? See the trap they're setting for us. And that's what I'm afraid of, is that the majority of you are not listening because I'm neither party. I don't fall for those dichotomous traps. It's not one way or the other. There are numerous other ways. And in America, we're not even supposed to have parties. We're supposed to have the Constitution with general laws under the umbrella of rights, which means if you violate those rights, those are the 3 crimes. Life, liberty, property. All of us, blacks, whites, women, men, no poor, no rich, all equal. Not equal in portions. I'm 6'5", but I'm 50 years old. I eat only a certain amount. My DNA tells me that certain foods are better for me. But other people are not me. They need different levels or different kinds of foods, different amounts of foods. And so when you call equal in regards to the inequality that already exists, then you're missing the whole point of equality. And so for me, I need different food and different amounts of food than somebody else. A baby, for example, you can't give a baby steak and potatoes like in a regular adult. See what I mean? And so, but the social control will take care of that for us. Wouldn't that be nice? But yeah, that's what's coming. We already have the social control in place. Then once we have Democrats sweeping the government, they will then implement all these Green New Deals and to prevent the rise of neo-Nazi conservatism again, they will put in a whole bunch of laws that will be for social control, because that's how they do it. That's how they trap us. The law of consecration, and in regards to the economy, completely different, and it demonetizes things. There is no money system in the law of consecration. But that is not considered anywhere, is it? Democrats want to keep the money system going. It's a slave economy. They all talk about, oh, we don't want slavery, but we're all for having black women rising up to be the slave owners. It's just, nobody sees it. Nobody gets it. And so this is the danger we're faced in. Whether China backs off and just continues to control us with our property and the land ownership, or whether we're going to have a sweeping control by Democrats, and then Democrats are going to implement communist policies across America to force on all states, I don't know. But I'm not embracing Trump. But that's the whole point. That's why they did it. In order to get the majority of America on board with Democrats for communism. But I don't know if that's going to be it, or if there is going to be something else coming. Because, again, Trump doesn't want to go to prison. And there's going to be a huge outcry to demand Trump be imprisoned. That's the consequences of this. So Trump will have to go to Russia or Argentina and maybe have some fake false red flag assassination where he pretends to be murdered. I don't know. But this is the warning I'm giving you guys. And I didn't mean it to be this long, but it was important because of what I learned from the news over the weekend. After I had already done the videos for you of the threat that we face. And so this, it could be China attacking, it could be China getting North Korea and Russia and other countries to attack us, and then China then sweeps in. I don't know. It could just be the election where Trump loses and gets assassinated in his attempt, and then is taken to Russia or wherever to live out the rest of his life with nobody in America being the wiser. I don't know. But I mean, QAnon, they've helped with this brainwashing, because it used to be the Illuminati and the Bush family specifically, with the 1,000 points of light and the New World Order. You know, everybody was freaking out, talking about the Illuminati were coming to get us, and And the Rothschilds magazine came out with the cover that 2018 was going to be the new economy. And, well, sure enough, Hatch purposely signed the bill to allow the church to prosper with that new economy, that tax bill. But nobody sees it because everybody's thinking it's going to be some other way. So that's the warning I have for you, is that the church, they're in on it. They've made preparations thinking that they're going to be protected in this. But the prophecies indicate that the temple is going to be destroyed in Salt Lake City, just like the Jerusalem temples. And so how it's going to happen, I don't know. But just so that you know further background information, Amos 3:7, surely the Lord God will do nothing save he shall revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. I'm the only one telling you this, because the church leaders aren't doing a single thing to warn you about anything. They want you back to the temples to get the virus. Your governor wants you back at school, back at work to get the virus. You know their fruits, and yet you don't know that you're the one who's being punked. So I'm trying to save your life. I'm trying to warn you. Don't fall for them.